All right, it looks like we're live. Yay. Hopefully this is working today. Um so welcome everyone. Let me share my screen on TikTok. I'm live on TikTok. I'm also live on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So today we're going to be talking about using GPT-3 to build something. So I'm going to see if I can see if my YouTube is working. So give me a second and give everyone a chance to log in also and join me. Let me just check this out here. See if my live is going up on YouTube. So a lot of you have asked me how I go live on TikTok from my Mac. I'm just going to show that I use Duet for that. And then I just share my screen that way. So let's see. All right. Hopefully people are joining. Let's see. Do I have any friends on right now? Let me know where you're at right now because we are going to be building an app. So I'm going to walk you through really quick. So on my screen, you should be able to see it. Let me just share my screen over here. I'll share my entire screen so you guys can get that. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of kind of like looking through OpenAI and some of the new things that are available. So I had someone ask me a question like, can I train OpenAI to build something? Can I teach it new content? So I can build an app for myself or build a chat bot? Like, how do I do that? So it is possible to do it. And so I just want to start off with like OpenAI documentation, extremely important. So OpenAI has a few models. Let me go start there. So it has 3 models that you can use. And let me make my screen a little bit bigger so you guys can see this. And then I'll walk you through something fun. Okay, so 3 models. There's the GPT-3, which everyone's familiar with. That's where ChatGPT comes from. Then there's the Codex. Codex is you use it in VS Code or your IDE. And then there's the content filter, which you use in fine tuning like a model. And then there's these 2 concepts that I'm going to share with you in the documentation because I read a lot of documentation. And I'm going to, this is like thanks to one of my data scientists that I work with. So there's this embedding API that ChatGPT has or GPT has. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to feed GPT-3 or ChatGPT some information, and then it can use that information to build out your chat bot. So like if you want to build something custom, like you want to customize the model, you can do that. And I'm going to show you how you do that with using no code. So this is kind of my attempt at going tech without being too tech to hopefully understand and walk you through this. So there's documentation here. Let's see, fine-tuning, GPT-3 and building a custom Q&A bot. So I'm going to show you how I did this. So this specific article is in mlq.ai. But if you go down here, they walk you through like how to build it, but it's all code based. It's in Python. And I was like, how can I take that? And then how can I build this or help people understand how to build this without having to code? And so this is what I came up with. And this is hopefully answering some questions that have asked me about like, can I feed ChatGPT information about something specific in my company and then just have an answer based on that information? And so now the answer is you can. And I just want to put it out there first. Like you can't put OpenAI firewall and restrict it because then like you're not really doing much, then you're limiting it to specific things. And OpenAI is trained on specific information, and your company could decide to like build its own large language model, but that costs millions of dollars to be able to do. And or you can leverage OpenAI to do that, which means that you need to decide like what kind of information you're going to put out there. Okay, so like post your questions. I can see the chat. So feel free to post your questions. I'll try to answer them. I don't know if YouTube is live or not because I can't see it. We're gonna keep it. Oh, here it is. It's live. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. I was like, oh, this is bad if it's not. I think it is. Okay. Anyway, so let's jump in. So I'm going to show you how I created a bot using Slack, Zapier, and OpenAI. So those are the three things that I'm using now. Oh, and some data from the internet. Like we need data, right? So I'm going to walk you through this process. I'm going to show you end to end. It's still kind of buggy what I built, but it works. So I use Zapier a lot. It's my Zapier. So let me see if I can find the one that I built out here today. Did I turn it off? I think I turned it off. Let me just find it really quick. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, so let's go in here. I have it off. I'm going to turn it on. And then we're going to go into it. Hopefully. There it goes. It's a little slow. Okay. So this is called a Zap. And what Zapier does lets you connect different applications in order to create a workflow. And so what I did here is I built a Slack bot. So I built a bot in Slack. So let me just show you here. So I'm using this Slack channel called Learn with Myra, and I'm using testing. And as you can see here, there's text in here that was generated from my Slack bot to answer a question that I posted in the Slack. So how did I build that? And I'm using OpenAI. So OpenAI embeddings is what the embeddings API is what allows you to connect to feed it information that you want it to learn to then answer questions based on that. So the way I started this is I created a Zap and the trigger. So triggers like what start the process, right? Like what's the like putting the key in the car ignition, like you have to put the key in and turn it, and that triggers the car to start. So what trigger car to start, engine to start here is someone posts a message in Slack. I had to enter my Slack details here. So I have the steps. Let me go into edit mode so you can see this. Let's hit the draft here. Okay. So I went in and I connected my Slack. I select the Slack channel that I wanted to do. So it's like the trigger is like when a message is posted into my Slack channel, not by a bot, but by a person. And then you just go in and you test that, continue. So that's successful. And then it takes you to the next step. So this is where it gets tricky. So with embedding, when you're going to information into OpenAI through the API, you need to format your text so it knows what it's kind of looking at, right? So I'm using the text formatter in Zapier to format a block of text that I've fed it. So in here, I just select formatter by Zapier. I tell it I'm going to like feed you text, right? So like, what am I going to give you? I'm going to give you text. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to split the text. So like this text has like articles and sections, and I could have used that, but it doesn't have articles and section everything. And there's just like these long running on paragraphs. And this is a long block of text. So this is like a summary of the Constitution of the United States. And I just like copy and pasted this. I got this from the internet. Copy and pasted it in here. And then just as it is, right? I didn't do anything to it. I didn't add any, just copy and paste it. And then what I'm telling you is like, I want you to split the text. So let's go back up here. Sorry to make you dizzy. So I'm telling you, split this text, right, that I put down here into, I split it in different ways. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split it into new lines. So lines is like these spaces. So each new line is going to give me like a new kind of block of data that I'm feeding into, that I'm going to be able to OpenAI. So there's this whole idea of like tokens and stuff in OpenAI. I'm not going to go into that right now. But there's a max amount of tokens that you can feed into OpenAI for it to read it, into like GPT-3 into the playground to read it, other stuff. And so you got to be aware of that this is not free, is what I'm trying to say. All of this to say that this is not free, guys. So if you think you're going to do this without getting any charge, yeah, there's a charge for this. And there's a charge for using Zapier. You get a certain number of tasks that you can do for free, and then you're required to upgrade. And I had to upgrade again because I was running through a lot of tasks. Okay, so here my separator you see is new line. And if you go here, let me just show you, into more, it'll give you a link that'll show you like what are the separators that you can use. So you don't have to guess at it. But it tells you like you can use spaces, tabs, new line, or return. So I used new line. And always I read documentation. So read the documentation. And then I wanted to segment all of the text as new line items, right? So what I'm saying is like divide it by line and then break it into line items. And I'm going to show you what that does. Continue. And then if we're going to retest the action here. And always their actions. And you see it added a line number to everything, into the spaces. So now each line is a block of data. And I know that this may, if I'm going over your head, just stick with me for a second. There's a method to my madness. I'm going to click continue. Okay, so now this is the search embeddings in OpenAI. So it's just an OpenAI module in Zapier, and you have to connect OpenAI to it. So if I go here, I say it's like I want OpenAI, and then it has different options. These are the 4 options you get. So you get three create options, and then you get a search option, and the search option is the option in the search embeddings. This is new. And I think it's pretty interesting. And then in here, you select like your account. So for your OpenAI account, what you have to do is you have to go to OpenAI, and you have to go to log in, and then under your account name, click on View APIs, and you have to create a new API and put it in here. It's gonna prompt you to enter your API key here. And once you do that, then you're connected. So let me show you my my account here. So if I go into my manage account, it'll show you like I started running some of these queries, and you can see how much I've been spending on some of these queries. So I had a larger spend on the I think this was the 20th. I spent $2.77. I've been playing around with this, and so it'll break down your cost for you and the model usage. I had 250 requests. I didn't do any fine tunings yet, like trainings. What I'm doing is embeddings, which is different than training, because training will go out also. Okay. So then in here, what I'm saying is like I connected everything. Now I'm saying, okay, like when there is a query, and the query is a message from the Slack channel, and I did was select. I'll show you. These are my options. Just selecting from Slack, message from Slack, text message, right? When you get that, I want you to go to the document that I put in here in the text formatter, the output. Oh, I put it in way too many times. Let's do it once. Okay. And then you don't have to put anything else. Like here, you could put like strings of data or whatever, but we're not doing that because we just have a document. You could do this with an Excel sheet too. Like if you had all your data in an Excel sheet, you can have it look up an Excel sheet. That's a whole nother tutorial I could do. And then should this be considered success when nothing is found? We're going to say no, because like if nothing's found, we're not going to consider it a success, right? Continue. And then what we're going to have it do is we're going to test it out here. So I'm going to retest the action because I've been playing with this. Okay, and so like it's reading the section. So it is reading the data. We're gonna click continue. So now what we're saying, so this is what we've done. We're saying when you get a message from Slack from this channel, here's the text that you're gonna kind of like the text that we formatted, and it's gonna be used in the embedding. So like this text formatter doesn't really come into play, but in the embeddings it does. You're gonna search through this content, and then you're gonna Slack message and response. So send the Slack message and then choose account. I'm saying like in the channel projects, give me the best match, right? Value. So let me show you. Let's go back here so I can show you. And it goes through here in the test actions. I had like a basic query in there. I forget the query was. I think it's at the bottom. Let's see here. Hopefully this is a lot of text. Okay, so it's saying it's true. It found it. So like I think it was the text in my Slack message was something like, am I protected? Do I have indemnity as a US citizen or something like that? So it's just using that as a test action. And so here, what it does is it scores the data, right? Maybe I had the wrong question, but anyway, it scores the data. It says like, hey, this one scored really high, and this is the answer. Like this is the value that we can generate. And then it does that for each one, and it scores each section of the data. And you can see here, like the score goes down, and this is like confidence score. Okay. So once it does that, so that's that information in here. So over here, my setup action, I can say, give me, I have this stem like according to the Constitution, and then I'm telling it from the search, show more options, give me the best match value, right? Which is that one line. I can tell it, give me, I can also say give me best match score, right? So give me the score of that, like the confidence value, and then give me the best match value. So then it would send that message into Slack. And let me see. I think I see some questions coming in. Hello from everyone. I see some people from Arizona and Oregon, Ohio. Thank you, SoCal. Hi, Kristen. So in here, guys, there's some more settings you have to set. So like, are you sending it as a bot? If you don't send it as a bot, it'll send with your name, whatever the name is in here. I'm sending it as a bot name I gave it. You can add an icon. You can add a link to the Zap. I don't want a link to the Zap. You can expand the links if there's links, link to usernames, threads. If you use threads, you need to set the threads up in Slack first for it to, and then select the thread. And then broadcast a channel. No, because that's more for threads and I'm not using a thread. And then continue. And I'm going to do this. Let me bring Slack quick here so you can see. Let me hide profile in Slack. Okay. So now when I'm going to retest the action here, and you're going to see that what it's going to do, it's going to actually send a message into Slack. And here it is, 12:19. So just that it just sent based on, like, I guess the initial question I had in there. And it's been looping. So there is a bug in the Slack integration that I'm trying to work through because it's going to keep on looping. And I haven't been able to pinpoint yet why it's looping. But I want you to think about the use cases that this has when you are, I'm going to publish this really quick before I forget. Think about the use cases that this has if you were creating some kind of bot. I just use Slack because I have Slack, and I also, have an OpenAI account, and I didn't want to build anything extra. I wanted to use what I had already. Like I didn't want to sit down. I could have coded a bot and just fed this into my custom bot, but I was like, I don't have time for that. I just what if I just Slack bot, because like people that I interact with are in Slack, and I can post it that way. You can use Discord. I think you can use WhatsApp. I think you can you can live with this. So like if you wanted to create a bot for yourself, and you want it to feed it information that you are, that's relevant to like your service or your company. You just want to do something custom. Embeddings is the way to go. Now you can fine tune. You got to train the model, and that's a little bit more complex, and you can't do it using Zapier. That you have to do code in Python or whatever other language you want to do it in to actually train the model and fine tuning the model and training it that way. But I think for the use case for most of us, this would work. It's a matter of connecting your applications that you currently work with and working with your IT departments if you're trying to do this in production. Working with your IT groups to see, like, is this something that they'll allow for you to do? Also remember that with embeddings, you're putting your information out in the public. It's not private. So I wanted to caveat that for you guys. But yeah, that's it. This one was a lot more technical. I really try not to make it as technical as it initially was. I try to simplify it, and I'm going to stick on for a second to see if you have any questions. And if you found this useful, guys, especially you guys here on LinkedIn and YouTube, there's a QR code at the top. You can buy me a coffee, and it'll just encourage me. It's like motivation, reward system. Encourage me to do more videos and lives for you guys. So questions. I'm going to sound for a second and see what questions you guys have about this or about using ChatGPT. I'm looking on TikTok. All right. So for my TikTok people, this is it. Deuces. See you later. Have a great weekend. For my LinkedIn and YouTube people, I will stay on a few more seconds to see if you have questions. It was a lot. I know this was like a really big one. So I apologize for it being so deep, but it was answering a question that someone posted about the being able to train or input information about a specific subject and having ChatGPT use that. So again, you can't use the traditional ChatGPT that everyone's been using. You have to use the OpenAI Playground. So let me just show you that really quick. So this is what it's using. Go back here. I have this way too big. So it's using the plugins in here. So this is what Zapier is using when it's making that connection to the embeddings. So you can fine tune these settings in Zapier so you get like the best response. Here, back to Zapier. So that's what you fine tune in your settings, in your setups, and in the steps. Yeah. So hopefully this will get easier for like everyday people to like use and train. And I'll keep my eye out on this. I'm going to try and create a workflow that I can share with everyone, but just know this is not free and you have to have money in your OpenAI account. And there is a risk if we were to like create something and just put it out to the general public and connect it to your OpenAI account, you can get hit with a couple $1,000s worth of like charges. So if you're prototyping, man, close that loop up really tight and make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you're going to be incurring a ton of charges on a prototype. Yeah, so go ahead and play with Zapier. It's one of my favorite tools. A few years ago, I created an Alexa skill that was able to track user interactions through XAPI and send it to Watershed. And the Watershed, I became like their favorite person for, I think, a minute for Watershed. So this is, yeah, I think it's interesting. I think there's some use cases in this, and just the fact that you can create, a bot in Slack if I can get it to stop looping. And like I said, this is a type you're going to run into bugs. There were a couple bugs that I ran into. The repeating, the looping one is the bug I'm trying to fix right now, but it does a good job like responding once you have it set up. So this recording will be on YouTube. So you go back and look at this. I will also do a video that walks you through this workflow and how to create it step by step. And I'm gonna, I don't know where it's at just yet. I'm not gonna post it on LinkedIn. I may charge a small fee for it, but it's not gonna be anything like crazy. But I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend. That's it for now. Deuces.